Okay. Hello and welcome to We with Sandrian. I am Sandrian, and with us today I have Senator Tessa, and I'm really excited to welcome Senator Tessa with us. And it's a great way to start the year. This lady follows through on her goals and her plans and her dreams or aspirations, whatever we want to call them. And there's a reason why I'm saying all of this. But first, let's just introduce Senator Tessa. Hello.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to engage with you. Happy New Year to you and your viewers and listeners.
Thank you. Thank you. So, you're in Grenada still. Tell us a little bit about what you've done in the past. Just give us a little intro actually about yourself. For people who didn't watch the previous video, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, you just asked me the thing I find the most difficult to do, to talk about myself. I'm a last child, so I tend to be a bit spoiled. I have two brothers and sisters. I grew up in what I would consider a low-income family. My father was in the Ministry of Agriculture. My mother was a seamstress, and then she started working with the GCA. I grew up, it might not look like that, but quite a tomboy.
No, I can tell.
And I went to secondary school from the St. Anglican practice. I went on to studied modern languages, back to teach at Grenville. And then from there, I did studies, bachelor's in educational administration, a master's of science in human resource development and performance management, and now a doctorate in education, in higher education from the University of Liverpool. I currently work at SU. I have an administrative position, but I do quite a bit of teaching as well. And today somebody reminded me that I'm the most down-to-earth person she knows. So I don't know if there is any value in saying that here.
You know what? There is a lot of value because it shows people, because you have a lot of credentials behind your name, or so for someone to tell you that, it means though that it didn't get to your head, and I'm going to use the term, it didn't swell your head. So that's a good thing, because sometimes, yes, it does. And it's not a bad thing when it gets to your head, because you put a lot of effort into getting where you are. So I think some people, it gets misconstrued a little. Yeah, it does give you a little chip on your shoulder. So it's nice when you're in that position where someone can say, I think you're the most down-to-earth person.
Yeah,
so that's good.
That's a personal promise I made to myself. Actually, I will not let these, qualifications get into my head, get to me in such a way that, I do not treat people as people, or feel that I'm better than anybody else. We're all on a timing, and our timing is not all the same. Everybody has their own time. So somebody else could very well do what I do. It's just going to take them a little bit longer, or they haven't started that process as yet. So, those comments remind me of who I am, where I came from, and the awesomeness, I like to call it that, the awesomeness that lies in all of us.
Spoken as a true educator. The timing, it's in all of us, and your timing's not yet, and it didn't come yet, but you can still do it. So spoken as a true educator. There's something that you said on your last video. You said, after all these things, I'm still that, and I use the word country girl. I like to take off my shoes and walk bare feet. So I think that is still you, authentic you. Because if the person's saying you're down to it, and I remember you saying, yeah, I still like to do all those things, take off my shoes and, do my gardening and all those stuff like that. So.
Oh, yeah. And that's not going to change. Let me just give you a little story. I'm there. I have a big tree outside my gate, right? And all the leaves flying. And just recently I was outside there. I tell you no lie, barefooted, raking up leaves, and this man came and he's talking, he said good morning and whatever, and he started to engage me. So I said, you know who I am? Because the kind of conversation he started, I thought he knew who he was speaking to. And then he said, let me see the face properly. And he said, okay, I recognize the face, the name not coming, but I know the face. So I said, you know what, I'm Senator Tessa St.Cyr. He said, that's where I know you, but your foot on the ground.
Couldn't match the face and the foot on the ground, right?
Understand? And I had to say to him, but I'm a Grenadian. I'm local. I like to say that I'm local. This is me. This is who I am. I'm not going to pretend this is not who I am. I like to walk outside in my yard barefooted. I tell you no lie. Don't this evening I was doing. That's just who I am.
It's good to ground you to nature.
Yeah. And that's not going to change.
Well, that's not kind of funny though. He said your foot's on the ground. Because you know what? I don't. Yeah. Because I know, and probably it's different because all my stories, unfortunately, viewers is from when I was a child. But I remember for us, if you're walking barefoot.
Yeah. And it's fun to walk barefooted.
Yeah. And nothing's wrong walking barefooted, right? But there are some stigmas that used to be attached to being barefoot, and poverty or your status, your financial status. So I can understand why he was surprised that a senator would be walking barefoot.
Right, but I would not let anybody put me into that box either. Everybody has a picture of the senator is supposed to behave in this way. And yes, there are behaviors that we know are consistent with having certain positions. But there is nothing wrong with the senator walking on the ground. I mean, if I get into this politics, I'll be a different politician. I can say that.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned politics because I'm going to chat to you about that in a while. But just let's go back a little too, because when we spoke and I was off camera, I looked at. We spoke, I posted a video June 16th, 2021, and it's January 16th, 2022. And when we spoke then, you said you had submitted your doctoral thesis. And when you introduced yourself now, one of your credentials, you had a doctorate. So tell us about that 7 months after. Tell us what happened. Tell us about the journey, if there was one. And
there
tell us how it feels. I see the smile on your face.
I smile because a lot of people tend to say, you're a doctor and you're this, and I still see myself as Tessa. And I see this, and I mean, I get a little bit emotional about this. I see myself as a regular person. In fact, I am a regular person. I just persevered. I have had a lot of bumps, potholes, large ponds to go through, but I persevered, and it has not been an easy journey, mind you. I went to work at SGU. My former boss said to me, Tessa, you need to do this. And I said to him, and and he kept coming, you need to do this, you need to do this. I'm saying, and I started, and I finished rather quickly. The taught modules, I finished rather quickly. And I was actually told, you're not allowed to start on the thesis process so quickly,
Wow.
Yeah, I had to take a little bit of downtime. Wow. Yeah, spent about 8 months doing just the research, the proposal. It got accepted, some corrections, did the corrections that went through. And then I, engaged in it. And I just want to go off on a tangent here and say to persons who are viewing this, you can do this honestly. You don't have to pay anybody to write a paper for you or anything like that, because at the end of it, there is this feeling that you have achieved, and I know I went through the pressures. It can be quite, a challenge, but at the end of that feeling that you get when you have overcome all of those things to have now reached to the point where, you can say you are finished.
Yes.
you know? Yeah.
And I can see the glow on your face, and though the glasses is on now, so I can tell that Tessa's did he did a number on the eyes. I'm just joking, but but you said some important things: perseverance and overcoming. And I like the fact that you say when you've been through some oceans and ponds and whatever, right, and struggles. That I think that's was it. But you wrote your thesis yourself, and when you write that paper yourself, and you got the honor of getting whatever you were looking for from it, your doctorate, your master's, whatever, right? The joy that it brings you knowing that you did it all and you overcame, right?
Yeah.
So I can see the glow. And
Yeah.
I'm here in Canada, but I saw the news. I got Texas. Did you hear Senator Tessa got her doctorate? And I'm like, oh my God, that's so good, because I knew she handed in her papers, 7 months ago, whatever. So congratulations. It's an honor when anyone, pursues higher learning. It's an honor when it's female, and what I'm going to share, because I know you shared it in your video, in the previous video for my viewers who didn't see, you weren't born with a gold spoon, and I'm using a gold spoon in your mouth, you weren't, education wasn't paid for since you were born. You didn't go to, and I want to use this word, I'm going to go cautious here, but you didn't go to one of the top selected schools in the island, as your high school. You didn't start from that place. You started from very, very, as you said, your parents, and I don't know if you want to tell us, you said GCNA, so I think that's the Grenada Cocoa Nutmeg Association?
Cooperative Nutmeg Association, yeah.
Okay. So it's farming. So your parents were farmers.
Yeah,
I apologize to my viewers for not knowing that. I did know it at some point though. But I'm trying to say that you didn't come from that place where, yes, your school fees were already settled since you were born, and you were going to do your PhD. So tell us about a little bit, and I think you also said in one of your previous videos, because you talked about teenage pregnancy and all this stuff like that. It's not the end of life. You can still pursue. So I don't know if you want to touch on that about you.
Right. And that's something I speak about openly. At 18, I was pregnant. At 18, I have a daughter, and I had the opportunity to go to study, and I had to make that difficult decision again to leave my daughter with my relatives and go to study or stay, and I opted to stay. Because I just saw it as something that was needed. I don't think it's always a good thing to leave your children to go abroad, and yes, you might economically be advancing, but then there are the social ills that come with that.
Yes.
So I wasn't prepared for that, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna stay. I started working as a secretary at the Alliance Française,
Wow.
And then I moved into teaching. My past principal said, and they call me Wendy, my second name is Wendy, and he said, Wendy, you have to come back to teach at GSS. We need you there. And so I went to teach modern languages. And from there, I said, you know what? There are opportunities. I can do this while I'm working. And so I just, I started, I went to teachers college, and then I started the bachelor's. And I remember I have a cousin who said to me one day, he said, you staying back today? I said, no, I have a date. And he said to me, well, every time we tell you to stay back, you say you have a date. You must be the calendar. But I had things to get done, and while, yes, it's important to socialize and so on, I had to prioritize, I had a child to with homework and so on. I had studies going on. So I made that decision to get involved in my elevation, as I choose to call it. Yes, because I know there would be opportunities for socialization down the road. So I decided to focus on that, and then the other things will come along eventually.
And you said, and I know from some of our other guests too, I know some of the girls when I interviewed that went to college with me, and one said, delayed gratification, and
Yeah.
that's sort of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Your date with the books, right?
Yeah.
It's what it is. And there's going to be time for other kind of dates. For the rest of your life. Now you have your PhD, you can date forever if you want. You don't have to, but I'm sure you would pick up another book because that's you. I can tell. But sometimes you have to put off the gratification. The other things can wait and stick to the goal. And what I like though is that you didn't just go from, you finish high school, and even if you're a teenage mom, you finish high school and then fine, you were okay and you jumped into your master's, or you worked your way. You literally took every step that there was on this ladder. You didn't get the opportunity to skip. You had your baby, you did some kind of job, you did some courses, you got another job, and you worked your way up. So, and you're still young, which is, you're not 60 or 50 or 84 or whatever, and you got it. So guys, it's doable. It's going to be challenging, as Senator Tessa said, but it's doable if you really want it. I'm going to use the words persevere, and you're going to you're going to have to overcome some obstacles. But tell us a little bit about strength though, because I know it's easy to say you got to persevere, but not, what are some tools, if you want to share, and you're an educator, things that can, just briefly help somebody in those, because it is challenging with a child. I don't know how you did it, What are some of the skills that we could?
One of the most important things is to have a support system. And you can have different layers of support. For me, my first layer is God. And I mean, I do not say that in a cliched way. And mind you, I am not, I'm not one of those persons who think I'm the perfect Christian or anything like that. But the first layer of support for me is God. I don't do anything without praying about it. If I'm not comfortable, I would reach out to, some spiritual person that I can get guidance from. For instance, I have this Pastor King, and I have a really good relationship. And, I messaged him and I said, listen, I have to make a decision here. And I need your guidance, your spiritual guidance on this. And I'm not going to make a decision before. So, the layers of support. I have friends. I mean, my friends are just awesome. When I tell you they're awesome, like awesome, awesome friends. No pressure. They know that I'm doing work. They know that I'm studying. They know that I have all these things going on. And I can literally stay in St. George's and pick up my phone and say, listen, guys, I need one of y'all to do this. I'm not cooking lunch today. I need y'all to go buy lunch. Get the lunch to my children and all of that. And they have been, at my side for the entire journey, every step. And then obviously your family members, right? Your immediate family who is there to pick up slack. Days when I can't do laundry, somebody's going to do the laundry, somebody's going to do what needs to be done. So you must have a support system. Have a plan. You must have a plan, and I like to say that things may not always go how you plan it out, but at least you have a structure that you can use to guide you, right? And you have to take chances. I don't know anybody who has gotten to any point, any sort of achievement that have not taken chances. I applied to do the doctorate and I had no money. And I say that openly, I smile because I paid my way through. I didn't get a scholarship. I've paid every single step of this way. I've paid from pocket, right? And I applied to do the doctorate and I got through, and the lady said to me, well, I'm calling to let you know you got through. And I said to her, miss, let me be honest with you. I applied, but I don't have the money. I told her that. And she said to me, well, here is what. I have a 10% tuition off. I'm giving it to you.
Wow. Amen.
And that's how I started, because I really didn't have the money. And then I said to her, okay, Now that I have this 10% off, then we can talk about a payment plan, because you have to
Yes.
be aggressive. You have to be
Yes.
aggressive. You have to let them know, this, the only way I'm going to be able to do this is if you meet me halfway, and sometimes
Halfway.
3/4
Exactly.
ways, so we have to work something out. You want me as a student and I want this degree.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So you need
Yeah,
something from me. I definitely need something from you. So
exactly. And we work something out. So you must have a plan. You must have a plan, and you must have some level of perseverance. Sometimes I felt as if I wanted to give up. There were days when I was demotivated. There were days when I procrastinated. There were days when I cried. There were days when I Netflixed instead of reading my articles. There were there were there were days when I opened my computer and I just let off a long stoops, closed back the computer, and just went and lie down to take a rest. But in all of that, I knew I had to get it done. So while people tend to call these things wasting time, I don't call it wasting time, because in this entire journey, learners' mental health, I keep speaking about that. It's no use chasing a degree, and at the end of the degree, you can't enjoy it because you have, emotional issues or
mental issue. Yes.
or mental health issues. So I do not call it wasting time. I call it taking time off to do what is necessary. Sometimes
Necessary.
you just
Yes.
need to get out of the books, relax your brain, and then to get back
Yes.
into more focused. So those were some of
Exactly.
the things I did, and I never felt guilty, and I'm not going to feel guilty for Netflixing or anything like that, because it's part of the process.
It's part of the journey, and I'm
Yeah.
glad you say it's a journey. It's a process, and and I'm glad you say yes. I mean, sometimes you may have to take a break and Netflix. What I most important though, the plan and the structure, because and if you didn't have a plan and proper structure, you probably would Netflix all day. But
Yeah.
because you may deviate a little, but we got this plan, we got these things that we need to do. So you can't Netflix for the next 8 months. You got to get
Exactly.
back. You got to get back on schedule once you're back in a good headspace, right?
Yeah.
So perseverance too. I have a little thing I always tell my daughter: failure, and I know that's a common one. Failure is not an option. And I think also, if that's something in your mind, you don't have to say it that way, but yes, you're taking your chances, kind of thing, and you're persevering. With the perseverance, failure is not an option, right? That
Yeah.
even if you may go off rails sometimes, but failing is not an option for you. So you got to get back on track, right? Tomorrow
Yeah.
we're gonna have to. So,
Yeah.
so
And their
but
eyes
thanks.
looking at you. And their eyes looking at you. Sometimes you're not even aware of the people that you're inspiring. So you really cannot fail. You just cannot afford to fail, not for yourself or not for the persons who are looking to you for motivation and inspiration.
Exactly. And I'm going to put a weight loss plug here because you said about eyes looking to you. And, in my younger days, even probably 2 years, even last year, earlier in last year, I was okay, and last year got really kind of confuffled. I was on and off and on and off, and then I was off, But I remember someone was telling me today, they said, even if for motivation, there's people that look at you, right? And I remember after my kids, I gained a lot of weight, and then I got a 6-pack in 3-4 months because I was that determined. And when you said, well, people thought about it that way, every time I thought about, damn, this is hard. I think, oh my gosh, all the ladies that came up to me, I'm like, oh my God, I'm struggling with this. How do you do it? So now, this morning I got up, I taught a workout class as heavy as I am, because that would motivate me too, right? So I thought to myself about the people, even people who's looking at this video, and I'm going to do a workout, I'm going to talk about weight loss. I'm sounding like Oprah now, but if people are looking at you, and you can motivate someone with your story and your journey. So thanks for doing that at this moment with your story and your journey. Now, we got to talk a little. I know you're smiling because last year, I mean, you are a senator, and you're a very young senator, and you're a female senator. I think there are 2 female senators.
There are three now.
Oh, there are three female senators. Woohoo! So you see, last year there were two. Women are moving on up.
Yes, yes.
So when we talked last year, there was a little bit of election buzz, and I was like, "Are you going to?" Like people approached you. No, I'm hearing a lot of election buzz. I'm hearing your name a lot. I'm in Canada. Your name comes up a lot. Senator Tessa is going to be affiliated with this party. Have you made a decision? Are you going to run for election? Are you going to be a candidate? And this will be breaking news, guys. She said it here first.
Right. So I have officially joined the NDC. Right.
Okay. Good.
I submitted my application. The application was approved. And again, you're correct. I have not said this before, so this is breaking news.
This is breaking.
I am on the consideration for candidacy. Yes. So there is a selection process. There is a selection process, and I like to follow the procedures. So I'm following the procedures, and let the selection process, have it run its course. And then if I emerge as a person that is selected, then yes. There are other persons who have thrown their cap in. So I cannot say that I am the candidate, but I am, one of the persons under consideration.
Okay, just so you know, I called it last year. I didn't know it was NDC, but I knew you were going somewhere. I just didn't know. I know politics was in. I knew they were calling your name. The bells were chiming in there. So, guys, breaking news. She's a possible candidate, and she's a NDC affiliate. Okay. Well, thank you for that, and good luck on that journey, though. And hopefully, whatever change the country, the island needs. If you are a successful candidate or NDC or whichever party is successful, that we can get those changes in the right direction. Yeah. Really excited, though, really excited. So now that you're possible candidate, and I really think, honestly, Jen, whatever party you choose to run for, I think you're going to be a good candidate. And I think with your education background, I think because you walk bare feet, I think on a serious note, I think you're down to earth person that. And you have the opportunity every day to drive, because you live in Granville still, to drive from Granville to St. George's. And I know you can see the needs of the people as you drive by. So I think that's a good thing. And I hope these are things that play in your mind when you're passing. You're like, okay, we need some changes here, So, but what is that? Because I know you were talking about family life and all this stuff back last year when we spoke, when you're in politics in that way now, not just a senator. How is that going to affect you? How do you manage? How would you balance? Are you still going to be a professor or teaching at SG or in that position if you're the successful candidate?
Right. So, and I have another bit of breaking news, but I'll do that afterwards. So, yes.
No, you're not happy.
So, yes, I mean, driving through, I see the needs. People call me, and, I engage with everybody. When I tell you I engage with everybody, I engage with everybody from the young guys on the block to whoever, I discuss issues. I discuss issues. I don't try to talk to people necessarily about party, but I talk to people about issues and how we can solve the issues, and, how do we get to that point where we want to get to? Because I believe the communities have a lot of development potential, and we can't all have the answers, so we have to bring in people from different scope, different walks of life, and then we come together and we have this kind of discussion. So there is that, but I've had the conversation with my family. My mother passed this October.
Yes, I'm sorry, I forgot to say, but I know you and I shared condolences, but once again, or condolences, accept your sympathy, yes.
So this is something that people had already approached her to talk about as well, And she's not there to see this, but she has always believed in what I'm doing, what I can do. She has let me be an individual, as the rest of the family has done as well. So it is going to take a bit of negotiation at times, I would call it that.
Yes.
But I believe the structure that I have, the family structure that I have, it will work. It is not going to be easy, but it's something that, will work out. There are times when, a little frustration may come in, and I know that because having children, they want your time, and,
Yes.
not be able to do that. Yesterday, I went out to do some food hampers in the constituency, and I came back a bit late, and I had to buy lunch, and I reached in and, my son his face looked down, and I said, what's wrong with you? I'm hungry. And he's a little bit outspoken, so he said to me, I'm hungry. But I had brought lunch, and that's
Yes,
all
mom's still giving out hampers and he's hungry.
You understand. And in the evening, I had another meeting. So it's like long days and so on. And I anticipate it's going to get more demanding. But I have the support. I know I have the support from family members, from, friends. If I need to call on anybody, I can always do that. So there is that. But I've also recently been nominated as a gender champion from the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. So
well, that's breaking news I did not know. So congrats. So tell us about what's a gender champion, or who is a gender champion?
A gender champion is really someone who works as an ally for all issues gender related. So violence against women and girls, all of those issues that surround equity and equality for women and girls in the workplace, in parliament, in every scope of life. So that's a gender champion.
Wow.
I was a bit surprised. The parliament nominated me, and then I was reviewed, and I got an email about Thursday, I think, letting me know that I am one of the few gender champions that were chosen for this time around. So,
well, congrats! Wow.
Thank you. So again, it's and it's more work. It's more work.
So you know what? Your reputation precedes you, and that's I think you'd mentioned some things earlier. And guys, you put in the work, people would notice it. You're not going around, which is what I like about you from our last interview, saying me, pick me.
Right.
People come to you when you do good service.
Right. And so I like to be in my little corner. Thanks. I say, you know what? I like to be in my little corner. I do stuff. I do all sorts of things, and I really do make a big fuss about it. So I did the packaging yesterday. I did not take a picture, and I'm only saying it here, because I was explaining the day yesterday. And not one picture. I do what I need to do. People are in need. Whatever you could do to help, you do to help. And you move on, and as you say, you do the work and people notice you, and so more, and at times it is a lot of work, mind you. At times it is a lot of work.
Of course.
But it's always for a good cause. And if I can, leave the community where I live a little better than I met it, I'll be, very, very happy. And if I can inspire, some group of ladies.
I think you're doing that.
Yeah.
I think you're already doing that. I think, and when I know you're already doing that. And when people notice, means it's spreading. Your light is not in the little corner anymore. The halo, right? Everybody can see it. So that's a good thing. And I think you'll be a great candidate. I told you that last year. I really do think you would be, not just because you walk bare feet, but because the community that you live in. I only say it because it's the down-to-earthness we're talking about, right? I think your background and not just your education accomplishments, but how you got there. I think it's what young women and young men too, what young people need to see, that all these things are doable. And in Grenada, you can have it all still if you want it.
Yeah.
There's going to be some struggles, but if you want it, it's there. And as you said, sometimes you got to negotiate, you know, you want it. Hey, listen, could you give me a temp? I be upfront. I want this degree. I don't have $80,000. What discount can you give? Can you do a payment plan? Because it's you want it.
Yeah.
I mean, they want you as a student too, but most important, as you said, at the end of the day, it's you that's going to get the award, right?
Yeah.
So thank you for that. I'm really glad you broke this news on We with Sandrian. So, but good luck in that journey. And as you said, and you're aware that there's going to be challenges, because I remember last year we were talking, you were saying politics can be brutal for family. You know, the families that are standing behind you, things that, and I know, you know, local politics in Grenada gets a little bit messy, ugly sometimes. So the family got to be strong too, and the good support system, because sometimes some nights can be challenging for you, and it spills over into your family that you don't even intend, that don't even want to be in politics. Suddenly the name's on TV too, you know?
Yep.
So,
So. And I mean, I cannot complain. I don't call names much. I tend to leave my family out of the media as much as I could. But I'll give you an example of the kind of support, and sometimes we overlook these things. We had almost a filibuster. You know, I got home about 12 midnight, and you know, I had supper waiting for me. You know, I didn't have to hurt my head, you know, to think about what I'm going to make when I get home. Because, you know, some families are like that. The ladies have to do all the cooking and whatever. Right?
Yes.
But that does not happen in my family. You know, there is shared responsibility. So
I'm glad it doesn't. And that's another video we should make about responsibilities. But shared responsibility.
Gender equality and equity, you know.
That's why you're a gender champion.
True. But that in itself is also going to be a challenge, because, you know, and this is a very serious issue that's, you know, plaguing our society, violence against women and girls. And I want to also include here boys, and to some extent men, because we're seeing a shift in that kind of thing. So while being a gender champion focuses mainly on women and girls, I intend to bring in the whole issue of, you know, violence against boys and men as well, because they also succumb to those kinds of, you know, situations. You know, we keep saying the men are the stronger folk and so on. But we're seeing, you know, increasingly men are being challenged, and we see an increase in suicide rates among young men, for example, you know.
Wow.
So we have to also take, you know, that into consideration.
Well, I'm glad. I think, I mean, good luck on the nomination. I'm glad that, you know, you're one of the, you're in the smaller bucket now, the few selectees. So I hope the next interview you be the person, right? But most importantly, even if you're not, which I hope you are, I think it goes beyond saying that it's a great honor to be recommended and then selected for such something, right? It's a Commonwealth.
But the selection is also made. So
sorry?
The selection was made. So I am one of the persons, the gender champions here.
Oh, well, congrats. So what do you do now? Like,
well, we have to attend a meeting, and then obviously we would have to put some work plans in place. We would have to identify priority areas. I would have to start looking at areas where the parliament can make some inroads into the issue. For example, there is clearly a need for stricter laws, you know, as it relates to violence against women and girls. So that's something I would have to advocate for. I would also have to be involved in, you know, education and promotion of, gender equity, equality, and so on. So it's a lot that will have to be done. But again,
and you have a lot on your plate.
Yes.
Senator Tessa, anything you want to share with us before we end? We learned a lot about you today. And once again, before you share, I really want to say congrats on your doctorate. Congrats on Gender Champion. Good luck. I'm looking forward, honestly, to see someone like you in a position that can implement change for the island on a bigger scale. And I know you're in your corner still. As I say, your candle, your halo is glowing, it's getting all over the island, but it's people like you, I honestly believe, that we need in those places. And what I love about your story, most important, is where you started. And sometimes we're ashamed of where we started. You hear you hear stories about people who never want to say that they grew up in the cocoa. I'll use the cocoa, Lucy. Yeah. But guys, where you start it's what makes the journey really interesting. Because if you were already the child who PhD was paid for already and you could have gotten it at 25, this story would not have been that exciting. It was expected. But where you came from and every step, and you're one of those people that literally took almost every step on the ladder. That's what I find is exciting about your story. And now today, I really hope that you get the opportunity to be, in the government, to make some changes and implement some changes. And I pray that you remain, and I think you are that person, though, so I'm saying it out here and I'm putting you on the spot. If you're in that position, I know when you're in government, it's hard. Yes, there's certain changes, all the dreams you have sometimes. We know how it goes. You can't implement all sometimes just because of the politics of it. But I pray this over your life, that you stay true to who you are and that you really make some change. And even if you can't make it on a huge level, still continue in your little corner making some changes, and then we'll hope it'll spread out, right? So now tell us, anything else you want to leave with our viewers? You gave us all this exciting news. I can't wait to post this video. Whew, I feel like CNN.
I just want to encourage people. I always say this isn't, I'm here having this conversation with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am hearing people on different levels.
I think you're chipping in and out. Sorry, we lost you a little bit there.
You hearing me better?
Now I'm hearing you, yes.
Right. I was just saying, we all have something to contribute, and there is nothing that is small. We may think it's small. We may think it's small, but the impact of that small contribution, I always like to plant a seed into people's life. Challenge yourself. Think about what you're good at. Think about whether or not you're actually, doing what you think your calling is. Are you self-actualizing? Don't all have to be academics, mind you. Yes. As before, and I say this all the time. Somebody asked me, "Are you going to send your son to SGU?" And I had to say to them, I say no, because he is not on the same trajectory as I am. He has things that he wants to do, So think about what you're good at and what you can contribute. And people, I said it too. I'm going to be honest with you. I say when it comes to politics, I say, Lord Jesus, me. Papa with politics, and yes, here I am contributing. And again, this isn't about me pumping myself up or saying, this or that, but every single time after I'm finished with Parliament, I get some calls, I get some messages, I get, when I'm walking on the street, we're hearing you, we're listening to you, don't give up, we're impressed with what you're doing, those. Well, is at home, I reflect on what I did. Did I do service, justice to the people? And that is what is important to me, whether or not I'm representing the interests of the people. And I keep saying to people, who are involved, this is about service. I could do without all of this. I could do without the frustrations, the challenges, the work, and all of, I could do without all of that. But somebody somewhere must get involved if we want to be, there is be the change you want to see. And we can't stay on the sideline and expect change to happen. You have to get involved. You have to contribute. You have to, get involved at whatever level you're comfortable at, So I want to challenge you. We tend to be a little bit passive. I want to challenge us in the diaspora locally to become a little bit more active, become a little bit more outspoken, with obviously with some level of tact, right? You can't be just going out saying things and behaving anyhow. But
for no reason, right? We just
we need to speak on the issues. There are a number of issues that are affecting us. We live in a democracy and we need to have people engaged wherever you are, within your scope. I had somebody say to me, a pastor called me and he said, I want to add my voice to yours. I was very happy when I heard him say that. There were some things he had to speak out on, and I was very happy. We cannot just sit back and, allow things to happen without making a contribution, without making an effort to get involved in the change. And my last thing is, I don't know if you'll allow me to say that, but, people to be involved in the process, you have to register. You have to be eligible, No,
I agree.
Yeah, you have to get, you can't just sit by and then when things happen, you say, oh, well. Now is not the time for, oh, well, because we have a country to develop. We have a country to move. And I believe Grenada a lot. We have a lot of potential.
I do believe Grenada has a lot of potential, and I love Grenada a lot. And after my visit, Grenada has much more potential than they believe, than they know of. But you said something, and that's just the way it is. I think it's the lottery that says that you got to be in it to win it, right? Stop sitting on the sidelines and grumbling.
Yeah.
Register, get yourself involved, make your vote count. So at least, even if you voted, at least your voice is still out there, right? You gotta make that vote count. But what's the point of just sitting there and grumbling every year about everything that's going wrong, but not getting involved?
Yeah, and not coming up with solutions.
Not coming up with solutions, most important, right? Just point at all the problems, not fixing them, But thank you so much. I'm really glad that I had you on today. As I said, I can't wait to post this video. I really, really wish you every success in every way. Like, if you need me to pray for you one day, whatever you need, just shout me out. I'm here. I'm in the diaspora, I'm here. I love Grenada, and I really want to see good things for Grenada. And, when we come back on vacation or if we move back or whatever, that, there's something we can work with and be happy and live there. So, I want to say thank you, Senator Tessa. I don't know if you're hearing me because I believe you're a little frozen, but you're frozen. A really good smile, which is exactly what you are. So
I'm hearing you.
Perfect, but it's okay. You froze perfect. So, but I want to say thank you again for being on the show. I can't wait to post this video. And guys, remember to like, remember to subscribe, and remember to share. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
No problem. Yes, same here. Same here.